The first time I actually started reading a lot about Guatemala was Mark Constantine asked me to go read a book called The Fish That Ate the Whale. And it's all about the United Fruit Company and all the bananas that were grown all over Guatemala and Latin America and Panama and El Salvador and Honduras. And it's this long history of foreign businesses coming in, destroying the land, destroying the people, and then really polluting the environment and ending up in positions where there is like really serious conflict within its people. To go there and you realize that Guatemala is this beautiful, incredible place where so many different ecosystems exist. They have so many different climate zones. It's this beautiful place, and we can grow many of the materials that we require in our supply chain. And so Guatemala became this country that we could invest in. We could get some farms and we could do really good work. Every time I go to Guatemala, I hear about the changes. And these are like recent history changes of like, oh, that used to be forest. Like 5 years ago, that was a forest and now it's a field. Now there's African grass going on. Now there's cattle, or there's a palm plantation over there. These are recent history. And so there's something powerful about being able to go in and be like, we're gonna go in and do something that's positive around take a cattle pasture and turn it back to forest. And we're gonna do that organically. And we're gonna take the hard road there to do that. And we believe this to be the right way. And so that's kind of a longer story of like, why is Guatemala? We've had this long history of Guatemala as a country being degraded. It answers a supply chain need around like it has all sorts of climate zones and ecosystems that we could grow materials that can enter our supply chain, so that means that those projects have long-term financial viability because we can be buying from them for a long time. And that it's a place of like that really does acutely need social and economic regeneration. It's like top of mind lately because when we look at climate change being the root cause of a lot of problems, and like us in like the Western world, Northern Hemisphere being the top contributors to climate change. And then you look at the cost and degradation happens so much in these countries. Like all the migration problem is, you know, it's not solely contributed to climate change, but it is that the droughts are longer, as the famines are longer, there's no economic opportunity and people are migrating like that. So much of the ethical work all stems from this. And if we can be a player of something, a business that helps people stay on their farms, they stay in their homes, we help them become resilient to climate change. In my opinion, that's when we're getting somewhere. It's crappy when people have to leave their homes. The human spirit, and I've had the privilege of traveling all over the world, and I see this consistently all over the world, is that families actually just want to raise their children to be healthy and to go to school. And if people would happily stay home to do that, if they could afford to. In terms of being like a fair and equitable buyer over time, I think we can get somewhere in creating a transformative supply chain in Guatemala. I think we can be leaders in showing what an organic farm can do versus conventional. And that hopefully it means that the people who work on our farms, because we see that firsthand every single time we go to them, people are very proud to be working on an organic farm because it means that they are healthier. And it means that their families and communities will be healthier. And we get that feedback all the time. So that's something that makes me like really happy and proud of the work we're doing there. And through these long-term relationships, we can show that trade is a way for people to have jobs and for that economic development to be sustained over time.